I think this is an age for worry, but the worry is not only about real estate, it's about saving lives. So I think the challenge is how do you look after the health of the people and be able to save lives? And I think real estate will fall into place. So the issue is very simple that we have two issues to handle. While we are saving lives on one hand, how much attention is being given to the economic situation today? For example, let's look at India as an example. We are focused on saving lives, and we are very, very, very clear that as far as the economy is concerned, the focus is going to come a little later. Now, that's the challenge. How do we really not focus on the economy while we are saving lives? Because not looking at the economy could also lose lives in terms of the economic distress that is happening in parts of India. So we are challenged both ways. On one side, how do we focus on saving lives? And on the other side, to get the economic situation. So I think it's the macro situation that we need to focus on first before we talk about real estate in particular. On the second part of it, I think real estate anyway in the last 12 months, as far as the Indian scenario was concerned, was severely challenged. We had economic changes which had been brought by the government of India, wherein they brought in a demonetization, they brought in a new policy on GST, various other matters came into the fore, and all this hit a setback in terms of the demand which was there in the case of real estate. Now, looking forward, I am very optimistic in the long run on the real estate scenario for the simple reason that production has slowed down tremendously. And I think the demand in India continues to grow. So on one hand, you see the demographics that India is bringing about and the huge middle class that is there, the huge people and flow of people of NRIs coming back from the Middle East and other countries back into India. All these people are looking at properties to get into. So I think that is really going to be the thing. The second part of it is the commercial end of it. We all thought that because America is in recession, in terms of what has happened in terms of their external thought, vis-a-vis all other countries of the world. However, we are not seeing that happen at all. In fact, we do see the outsourcing continuing to grow from India. Our top IT companies have grown in the last year in spite of such a severe lack of demand in the international markets, have grown by more than 10%. Now, this is unbelievable because on one hand, we see a severe recession, and on the other hand, we see an increase in demand in terms of outsourcing, which they are talking about. The third, which is pitiable, is the travel and tourism sector and the retail sector. I think they have been hit the hardest. I can't expect that revival to take place in the near future. And I think that segment of the entire real estate business is challenged for a long period of time. I don't see international or other travel taking place. And just like we are on a webinar, people are getting used to not traveling and more on the webinar and being able to communicate. So I don't see a problem in terms of residential and commercial. Maybe 6, 8, 10 months from today, I think it will spring back as far as the Indian scenario is concerned. As far as the international scenario is concerned, I think it more depends on how the GDP of various countries will take place and the individual countries and the activities that they focus on. So what is it that really different countries bring to the table? And I think that's a challenge. In the Indian scenario, there is a huge focus to see whether the outsourcing, which was likely to happen because of the move of moving factories and commercial activity out of China. We have not been very successful in drawing this cup of tea. And I think Vietnam and Bangladesh have taken the lead in terms of getting the factories being moved from China to those countries. India is on the back foot. But I think they're making best efforts now in order to get more industry and commercial establishment to come into India instead of other places of the Eastern world. However, only time will be able to tell us whether we can pick up this opportunity. The plus points are two. One, the oil prices have fallen, and a large amount of our buying in terms of foreign exchange requirement, we import 80% of our requirement of oil, and that's a huge budget. That cost has come down, so that's a positive effect in terms of it. The second, we have sufficient food in stock for 2.5 years. Even if we gave free food to the whole of India for the next 2 years, we have enough food availability in the stocks in our godowns. I think these two aspects of it have forebode that the minimum level of living is going to be taken care of, but the growth of the country will all depend on how soon restoration of the rest of business takes place. We have the Prime Minister speaking to us at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time today, so we will come to know what is the way forward. I'm bullish in the long run, challenged in the short run. Liquidity crisis is also there in the short run. Funds are not easily available to the real estate as a business. Those are the challenges that we see. But with interest rates falling tremendously and the returns on rental ranging from 2.5% for residential to 6 to 7 to 8% in case of commercial, investments are coming in. Huge amount of foreign direct investments are taking place in the Indian marketplace, and I expect that that will continue. So falling interest rates worldwide is drawing more and more money into the real estate investments as a business over a period of time. And I think we see a lot of people thinking long-term investments to take place. Our largest player in the markets, two largest players, the Reliance Industries, have just recently received billions of dollars of equity investments into the company. And so there is a positive interest in India. TCS has received large amount of new businesses on their order book. Infrastructure companies like Larsen & Toubro and others have received a large number of new orders in terms of infrastructure development. So positive role in the long run, very challenged in the short run. And I definitely feel that the focus on lives will shift very soon into livelihood in a very short period of time. And I think hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months, we do get a vaccine. So this will be behind us and we'll all laugh about the bad period that we went through. Thank you very much. You're going to see both grow, except that India is a very large country. So what is it that earlier you said residential will grow, commercial will grow, IT will grow? That's not going to happen in a universal sense that you mean. What is going to happen is you will see pockets of growth which will take place. So you may see IT growing in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Gurgaon. So those are the segments which will be focused upon. So if you're seeing a universal position of IT and you think that it's going to happen in the rest of India, it doesn't happen. Let's look at industry growth. You look at the automobile growth. It's there as far as Pune is concerned, it's there in Chennai. We have got a little bit in Ahmedabad and we have in the north of India. But what happens to the rest of it? Automobiles don't come up everywhere. So what is really happening is that there are centers of excellence of individual corporate entities which tend to focus in certain areas because of the strength of skills which are available, or the state governments giving priority to certain industries and encouraging those industries to come about. So when we say that commercial will come up, it's not like a universal painted white everywhere. It's good, bad, and ugly. So it would be good, very good in parts, it would be okay in certain parts and bad in the other parts. And that's where people become very important. So when you have people like Firas or Russell or Neil looking at these products, it would be the expertise of people who understand the location, the market, which actually makes a person to be able to make correct decisions in the environment that is there. So there's not going to be a universal good. Earlier, somebody would say, go to India and invest into commercial. That doesn't work. You are going into India and invest into residential. That doesn't work. You're going to India and you're going to invest into IT. That doesn't work. But if you say, yes, if you're going to ABC corporate entities in these locations, there is a better chance of success. And I think the differentiator factor has definitely happened. The post-COVID situation is going to be selective and not universal. That's one reading definitely which has taken place. So the answer is yes, commercial is definitely going to pick up, and quite a lot. My reading is industrial, warehousing, data centers are going to be the next pickup. And we are already seeing huge amount of investments coming in. Foreign direct investments in the last 6 months have been universal into warehousing, into industrial townships and commercial, which have taken place, and billions of dollars have now come into the country for this. However, there has been a setback. I cannot deny that. And this will definitely continue for the next 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 months. But we do not expect that this is going to be universally bad. No. Again, similar for residential. There are growth centers. So for example, Noida is doing very badly in the National Capital Region. And that region has been flooded with surpluses of stocks. And I don't see anything improving. But in the Mumbai region, for example, the Bangalore region, the Pune region, I think there are opportunities of growth which are very, very proactive and positive, and a large amount of investments will take place. And the third, which I forgot, is that affordable housing has been given a huge boost in terms of incentives. It's been made 100% tax-free, 1% GST. They've given interest subvention of 3% for the next 15 years. So I think all that will improve investments into affordable housing, and that is the thing which the focus is also going to be there. So that's a segment I forgot to mention.